Philip Douthett, the men's marriage mentor here. I help men renew their failing marriages while creating a meaningful legacy. And if that's what you're looking to do, then you're definitely going to want to take notes on today's video. And if you found this information that you're going to learn today to be valuable, be sure to share this video and click the like and subscribe button so that you get the notifications of other videos that I release. Before we get into the video, be sure to stick around to the end where I reveal the details on how you can join me in my free training that walks you through how to renew your failing marriage by doing the right things at the right time in the right order, even if your situation feels completely hopeless right now. So be sure to stick around to the end for that announcement. And just so you know what to expect here, this video that you're about to watch was a training that I did inside of my private group that is directly related to the title of today's video. So get ready to take notes, then apply what you learn so that you can get the results that you desire. So with no further delay, let's get to it. If you analyze all the shit that you're going through in life and in your marriage, you have to understand that as a man, you're the head of the house, right? You're the man of the house. A man of the house does what? Leads. You lead your family, right? You have to understand that as you go through the shit that you're going through in life, you have to have the understanding that the only way to get over the shit that you're going through is to go through it. And I talk about this inside the Men's Marriage Mastery program, where you have to experience the experience. Experience it in the present tense. And for so many men, when they're going through challenges within their relationship, their marriage is falling apart, what happens is they start to live in the future. And that fear begins to consume you. What does that mean? Well, what that means is that if you allow that fear to consume you, what you're doing is that you're looking into the future and you're feeling so much anxiety and you're scared and you don't know what to do. And you're like, oh, fuck, what if my wife divorces me and we have to split up the house and I don't know where I'm going to live. I don't know where she's going to live. Where are the kids going to live? How is this going to impact my work? Am I going to go bankrupt? Is she going to take me for all I'm worth? Is she going after child support? You have all this fear. Am I going to be able to afford to drive my vehicle? All these things that you have going through your head. And what you do is you're future-jecting, if you will. I don't know if that's really a word, but I'm coining it tonight. You're future-jecting yourself into the possibility of what could happen if and or when the relationship fails. So when you do that, what happens is you get scared, you get in that mindset, and you don't think clearly. You fuck yourself, you mind fuck yourself. And so, did I do this a lot when my wife, threw the divorce papers at me? Yes, absolutely, I did. But I have now the mental stamina and the ability to look at not just the future, but the present simultaneously. And this is a very mature and a very advanced mental strategy where you have the ability to look in the future and in the present and understand that your present actions are going to influence and impact the future. So if you can understand that the things you're doing now, how are the actions that you're presently doing impacting the future of everything? Your marriage, your work, your children, your family overall, your legacy, all of it. And if you can understand that, not just, at a basic level, but at an advanced, higher level thinking level, if you will, and see that the actions you're taking today and how they're impacting the future, well, guess what? That gives you the ability to think clearer in the present instead of allowing fear and doubt and anxiety and insecurity to influence your decisions right now. And when you do that, when you allow that fear and that doubt, anxiety, fear, insecurity, all of that to mind fuck yourself in the present that adversely impacts the future, right? I think a lot of men understand this concept, but they don't really deeply understand it. They understand, they understand this at a basic level, but when you really dive deep into the mental understanding and the maturity that it takes to think about the future and the present, jump back and forth between the two simultaneously, instantly, well, that sets you up for a much higher probability that the actions you're doing now are going to have a favorable outcome moving forward in the future. Think about this too. If you don't take care of yourself, if you don't put your own oxygen mask on first, right? You don't put your own oxygen mask on first and take care of yourself, how the fuck do you honestly think that you will be able to perform at a higher level, at a, dare I say, satisfactory level for those who depend on you? Your wife, your children, employees, coworkers, neighbors, your township, your city, whatever you have going on. If you're not stepping up and you're not using, the tools that I teach clients inside the Men's Marriage Mastery program, if you're not using those tools to think clear, to be present, to understand that what you do now is impacting the future, then what you're doing is you're hurting everyone else around you. And guess what? People run out of patience. I call that the dreaded P word. The dreaded P word is patience, right? People run out of patience with you because you're mind fucking yourself and playing the victim and playing the pity role. Well, guess what? When you do that, they might last for a little bit, but it's a short-term issue. I'll just put it that way. It's a short-term issue. When you go for pity and you want to play the victim, it's a short-term grasp for attention. But when you have the confidence and the reduction of overwhelm and the reduction of anxiety and insecurity, all the above, you fear, doubt, all of that, you have all that reduced, but your confidence is higher because you have a future idea of what will happen if you do the things in the present. Well, guess what? That is a long-term goal. It's a long-term plan. But in the meantime, you can do what you need to do now in the short term, little by little by little by little by little by little by little, right? And slowly climb that mountain. But so many of you, you look at this mountain and these challenges of what you're going through in your marriage, and you're staring at this mountain, and you're like, holy fuck, it's so much. I don't know what to do. You have so much anxiety, fear, doubt, insecurity, anger, bitterness, a fucked up perception, or perspective, I should say. Your perspective is so skewed because you're so bitter, so pissed, so one-sided that you're not opening your mind, your eyes, your heart to see the beauty of what's in front of you. So many of you have fucked yourselves with that lack of beneficial perspective. That's where I'm going here tonight. So a couple days ago I posted, I'm genuinely curious. How long do you think it should take to renew a marriage to the point where you both are strongly connected and trust is unwavering? What's a reasonable amount of time? Now, kind of a loaded question. The way I phrase this is a little bit skewed, but I did it on purpose to draw out some of the anger and the bitterness in men, and boy did it work. Because why? The psychological triggers that I teach clients inside my programs, guess what? I use them on you, right? Even if you're not already an existing client or you're not already in one of my programs, well, guess what? I still use psychology to draw out some of the things that I want to work with to help you. If you want to dive deeper into all of this, well, then that's what my programs are for. Are they free? No, they're not. There is a barrier. It's an exchange of value for value there. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to give you guys some value about what it takes to renew a marriage in the length of time that it should take. Now, one thing, I'm going to answer this with a caveat. I will not discuss the appropriate length of time that I talk about in great depth within the Men's Marriage Mastery Program. For those of you who are in the program, you know what it is and you know why. If you're interested in learning what that is, reach out to me. Let's have that conversation. Brandon Russell, he says, I believe that it could be accomplished in one weekend. However, I agree that you cannot really put a number on it. In the perfect world, we wouldn't be married unless we were already there. I want to say yes and no. Here's the thing. You can make a lot of advancements in one weekend. In a short period of time, you can make a lot of advancements, but you're talking about a huge level of skilled intervention to make that occur. You know, that's why people go to marriage retreats and stuff like that. Like if you go to like a marriage retreat, for example, well, yes. Can a lot of the changes, I'm going to use that word tonight, but very delicately. Can a lot of those changes be made in one weekend? Yes, you can. But where rubber meets the road is, are those, I like to use the word advancements and improvements in your relationship. Are those advancements and improvements, in your words, changes, are they going to stick permanently until the day they stick you in the ground? I don't know. The answer to that is one word. I refer to this in the program. I hit on this very deeply. I'm going to say the word, but understand that for those of you who are not in the program, you do not, and I'd be willing to bet, I bet $1 million on it, you have no idea the true impact of the word discipline. Okay? Discipline. If you don't have the discipline to enact those changes for the lifetime of your relationship, lifetime of your life, well, it's not real. It's fake. It's a faulty facade. Keith Hampton says, I thought 1 to 2 years, but we are going on 4. Things are different, but often I wonder if it's better. I even talk about this in the program, how you track your progress in your relationship. There's very specific ways to do so. It doesn't sound like you are able to track your progress if you don't know if things are better or not. So I often wonder if it's better. I don't know. Can you track it in a way? Yes, you can. I talk about how to do that inside my program, but for you, you're falling short on that. And this is where I talk about this in the program. It's not just putting in the effort. Like he said before, he said 1 to 2 years, but going on 4. It's not about necessarily the length of time, although I do put a number on it inside my program. But I put a number on it because you should start doing the right things at the right time, in the right order. There's a process to marriage renewal. It's not commonly known. It is very psychologically based. It is very beneficial. It does not ever involve any type of manipulation or breakdown of morals or ethics. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. It is not belittling in any way. It is only about advancing and improving yourself along with the marriage simultaneously. So when I put a numerical value on how much time it takes to renew a marriage, you start the clock on the day you start doing the right things in the right order. And for most of you, or should be, for all of you who are in the Men's Marriage Mastery program, guess what? You join my program, I start telling you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, why you're doing it. Well, that's day 1. So if you've been fighting to save your marriage for 1 to 2 years, like Keith said he's been doing, well, guess what? That's a waste of 1 to 2 years. That doesn't mean you've been doing the right things at the right time in the right order. That just means you've been spinning your wheels and going nowhere for 1 to 2 years. But the biggest fight is with yourself. Like I said, you got to put your own oxygen mask on first. Do what's best for you. And it's not selfish. It is not fucking selfish. Taking care of yourself in certain ways. Okay? I'm not saying you need to do a bunch of hookers and blow. That's not what I'm saying at all, right? Because it's fun taking care of yourself. No. It's, again, like I said earlier, future projecting and looking at the present. What are you doing now that benefits you? And how is the better, improved you now going to have an improved version in the future? How is that going to impact positively the things in the future? So it's looking back and forth. So being able to make the decision to advance and improve yourself now, look at what the impact will be in the future. Yes, I talk about what that looks like inside the program. Chris says I don't have the need to do it in the first place. I give 15 months to see change in her. It's a two-way street. It is a two-way street at some point. Okay? This is where a lot of guys, I see this often, and this is the bitterness that I'm starting to see in a lot of the comments that guys make inside the group. The bitterness is guys saying, I've been trying so hard for X amount of time, and she just won't change. She just won't see the new me or the better me or whatever, however you want to define it. Some version of that, right? And the bitterness is the fact that you're making all of these changes about yourself, but you're not getting any favorable response from her, so you get bitter about it. That's the trap. That's the trap that you put yourself in. And that's the mind fuck that you put yourself in. That is the pain that you inflict upon yourself and your marriage, and you get bitter about it, and it fucks your head up, and it doesn't help you make clear decisions that impact the future in a positive sense. Wake the fuck up. Seriously. You just don't get it. Mike says, depends on how angry she is from the breakup. You had a breakup, huh? What is this, fucking high school or something? Middle school? Oh, my boyfriend broke up with me. What is this, breakup? No. This isn't a breakup. This is a painful time in life where two people currently don't agree. It's not a breakup. It's a division of opinions, if you will. It's a division of heart. And the more anger and insecurity and anxiety and bitterness and fear and doubt that you inject into your own head and into your own heart, the deeper that wedge drives between you two. And what happens when you have a wedge shaped like this, right? You know, it's a wedge. The wedge goes down, it pushes further away. So you can allow all of that to adversely impact your own head, which impacts your actions, which impacts your thought processes, which impacts your actions. You know, it's a vicious cycle. There's 4 pieces to that cycle. We'll talk about it in the program. I'm not going to talk about them all here and how they impact your relationship. Did she move on? Does she really, truly miss you still? I don't know. I guess when you say did she move on, it sounds like she's, you know, divorce is final and she's already marrying somebody else. Like, that to me is more of like moving on. I don't know where you are in this, Mike. It doesn't sound like a marriage to me. I'm sure maybe you're married, you probably are, I don't know. But when you say break up and moving on and does she truly miss you, like that sounds kind of high school-ish. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Ricky says it depends on the situation, how badly people were hurt emotionally. There's some truth to that. Here's the thing. You can dwell on the hurt that you have emotionally and allow that hurt to continuously drag you down, or you can act in spite of it. If you're unclear as to what you need to do to renew the relationship, and you're hurt so emotionally, if you're hurt emotionally badly, I did not phrase that word very well, but you know what I mean. Well, like I said, what does that do? It creates like a mind fuck, and you get very unclear, filled with bitterness and anger and doubt, insecurity and anxiety. Well, you start to try to think of things to do to renew the marriage, right? But no man really has the right idea right off the bat as to what they need to do to renew their relationship. I've never met anybody ever that has cracked the code to renewing a relationship. And renewing a relationship is not a bunch of bullshit like, texting her "I love you" or making dinner for her, or telling her she's beautiful, or rubbing her feet at night, or any of this shit. That's not renewing a relationship. That's not. Those are things that you should have been doing since day one, right? Those are things that you should have been doing to demonstrate to your wife that you're committed to her. But somewhere along the line, you fell off the wagon, right? But renewing a relationship is none of that. But a lot of men think that it is. And so they start to enact all these thought processes that they think will renew the relationship, but they don't really know. You don't have a proven game plan to renew a marriage. So a lot of men start to guess as to what they should be doing. But what does guessing actually do? When you're unclear and you're filled with all of that, what does guessing actually do? What does guessing produce? You're guessing, you're filled with fear, you're unsure, you have a lot of insecurity. What does all of that build? One word. Anxiety. It builds anxiety. Now, on top of that anxiety comes stupid shit. Put it that way. Be very, very broad. You say stupid things out of anger, out of fear, out of desperation, and you make the situation worse. You make the relationship a hell of a lot worse than what it was. Tyrell said, hard one to really put a time frame on. I mean, I still have doubts and trust issues here and there with my wife after it's been nearly 2 years since we figured out how to fix our marriage. Those doubts and fears are lingering on from what's happened over the last 7 years. You figured out what it takes to fix the marriage. The problem with that statement is that far too many men are focused on fixing things. Most men are left brain thinkers. That's opposite. For you guys, it's on the right side. So it's my right, it's my left, right? Left-brained thinkers, and this is a psychological, it's not theory, but it's a psychological fact if you look at the human brain, that left-brain thinkers make up the vast majority of men, or men make up the vast majority of left-brain thinkers, put it that way. So what does that mean? Most men look at a situation and they think, I need to fix it. I need to fix it. Fix, a very, very dangerous word. You see, most men will look at it and they'll say, all right, the tire's flat. I need to replace the tire. That makes sense. The brakes are squealing. I need to put new rotors and pads on it. Makes sense. The battery won't hold a charge on my phone for more than a minute. Put a new battery in it. Spring broke on the garage door. Got to replace the spring. That's fixing shit. That's fixing. Door handle broke. Replace the door handle. Or take it apart, fix it, put it back together. Fix it. That's what men think. That's the left brain thinker. That's how most men think. That's how most men are trained to think. It's not just a learned habit. It's also a deeply rooted psychological aspect of the male psyche. So, it's not about fixing. You see, in the fix-it mindset, it leaves out the very most important aspect of renewing a marriage. What is that aspect? That's the emotional side. That's the heart and soul. That's the ability to look into the future. Future eject, like I was talking about earlier. And say to yourself, all right, what I'm doing now is impacting the future, right? That's the long-term goal. The short-term goal, the fix-it mindset, is I need to fix this now. My phone's broken, I just need to fix it now. The brakes are broken, I just need to fix them now. Like, just do it kind of mindset. Just fix it. But it doesn't actually set you up for long-term success in the relational aspect, because it's not tapping into the emotions. Emotions are psychologically deeply rooted, right? They're deeply rooted, and they form confidence, trust, connection, love, all the above and more. That's the emotional aspect. It's not the fix it. And Tyrell is right. For most men, doubts and fears are always lingering all the time. And like I said earlier, can those doubts and fears be eradicated? Can they be eliminated? Yes. They can be. If you do the right things at the right time in the right order. Simple as that. Ryan Jackson says, what about the fact that I can only control my 50% of the relationship? Woo! I'm going to rip you apart on that one. I'm making positive changes. Fuck, don't say that word. In my life, and it seems to be making her mad. Yes, it's making her mad. Jeez, wake up. All right, Ryan, I'm going to rip you a new one out of love. First of all, you said I can only control my 50% of the relationship. Okay, well, let me rephrase that into a much more beneficial phrase that makes a lot more sense. You can only control your part, yourself, in your part of the relationship. You can only control yourself in the relationship. Put it that way. It's not a 50-50 split. If you think it's a 50-50 split, you're, like I said earlier, you're mind-fucking yourself. Here's the thing. A lot of men think that, like the other guy said earlier on, that it's a two-way street. And there's some truth to that, yes. But when it comes to renewing a relationship, you have the ability to influence the relationship right now. You have to lead the charge. You have to lead the charge towards the renewal of the relationship. How you do that? It's a long process. I talk about it in my program. I lay it out step by step by step by step, right? But you have to lead the charge, because the thing is, she's leading the charge towards divorce. You have to decide whether or not you want to follow her down that path of divorce or lead your life down the path of what? Reconciliation, healing, connection, communication, trust, love, sexual intimacy, personal intimacy, all that. You have to decide if you want to lead down that path or follow her down the path of divorce, which is filled with anger, bitterness, doubt, resentment, embarrassment, fear, anxiety, etc. Okay? So it's not about a 50-50 split. So what if it's 90 and 10? What if you're doing 90% of the work and she's only participating 10% of the time? You have no idea how many thousands of men I've talked to over the years of doing this that have told me that things have flipped. Things have just shifted. They changed 180 degrees. Because why? Because so many men have told me, thousands of men have told me that my wife was trying to renew the relationship. She was working hard. I didn't see it. I was too stubborn. I was too angry. I was too bitter, whatever. And I didn't participate. She reached her level of tolerance with you, and now you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. You get all pissed off and scared. You're like, whoa, hold on. Okay. I want to renew the relationship. But I don't know what to do. And then roles shift. And so you start working on renewing the relationship, and you start running and like, I got to figure this out. I got to save my marriage, blah, blah, blah. I got to fix my marriage. And so you're doing 90% of the work and she's only doing 10. Where before she was doing 90 and you were only doing 10. But you didn't have the sight. That's what I was talking about, where you have to look at the present and the future back and forth simultaneously. You didn't have the foresight and the personal insight in the moment to see how that was impacting the relationship right there and then. You were not connected enough to her and to yourself to see the actions that you were doing now and how they were adversely impacting the relationship moving forward. So that's on you, Ryan. That's okay. We could definitely work with that. But what my point here is the fact that it's not a 50-50 split. It could be in 60-40. Could be a 70-30, 80-20, whatever. However you want to define the split, right? But the fact is that it's not a 50-50 when it comes to renewing the relationship. You can only control yourself in the relationship, and that self might be 90, 80, 70, whatever percentage you want to give yourself. That's the percentage that you're putting in and the work, the effort that you're putting into the relationship. And she's not participating very much. And that's okay, because I would refer to you in that sense, Ryan, as a solo soldier. A solo soldier is a man who is fighting alone to save his failing marriage. Fighting alone, solo soldier, to save his failing marriage. That would be you. Okay? And that fight might be, like I said, 90 and 10, 20 and 80, whatever the case may be for you. So it's not always a 50-50 split. That's my first point. Second point here, Ryan, is the fact that you said, I'm making positive changes in my life and it's only making her mad. I see this a lot. Okay? Here's the thing. You're making changes that are extremely, extremely far-sighted in the changing of you. It's not the advancements of you, it's the changing of you, that she doesn't know who you are anymore. And when she doesn't know who you are anymore, it scares her. And she's like, I don't know this guy. I don't know who this is. I don't know this man anymore. He's not the husband that I married, blah, 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 right? So the changes that you're making in your life, they might be beneficial, but they're also pissing her off because they're doing it with wrong intentions. Some men will say, fuck you. I'm doing it with all the right intention. I'm trying to make myself better, my family better, blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. Whoa. Time out. Don't get pissy. Time out. You're doing it with the wrong intentions in her eyes. There are ways to do it so that you can renew the relationship and renew yourself simultaneously in a way that does not put on a show and doesn't create the whole new you with all these changes that it scares her and pisses her off because she doesn't know who you are anymore. There's a very delicate balancing act to that. I'm going to move on. Hunter said, suspected an affair partner. My son actually revealed texts that he found that killed me. Obtained phone records, and sure enough, the evidence is there. Should I confront or blow it off? Feel like I'm just in denial. Thanks, Phil. Obviously, a breakdown in trust. Here's the thing. If you confront her, all you're going to be doing is pushing her away even further and pissing her off. There are ways to bring up that type of topic, but right now would not be a good time because here's the thing. You just violated her space. And if you reveal this evidence that you have to her, she's going to get defensive. She might even deny it. She might tell you to go fuck yourself because you violated her personal space. And I get it. That pain is there. It's killing you. But you literally said, I obtained phone records and the evidence is there. That's you not trusting her, and she feels like she needs to step outside the relationship to get whatever she's seeking. I don't know what that is. Never talked to her. No idea. So there's something outside of the relationship that you guys have that she's not getting, so she feels like she has to step outside of the relationship to get it. I don't know what that is. Could be anything. Could be the simple basic need for sex. It could be Could be trust. It probably is trust. She probably doesn't trust you, just like you don't trust her. But you have to look back here a little bit. And I usually don't talk about the past because the past can be something that will be a rabbit hole for some of you. But the thing is, the ability to look at the past and learn from the issues that have gone on in the past. Where did you guys fall short? Where did the train derail? So once you figure out where that is, you can start to correct to put that back on course. But for you to confront her now, no. Not a good idea. You'll only piss her off and push her away even further. Should you blow it off? No. Don't do that either. But yeah, you should be very careful about approaching this because this will blow up in your face and it will make the situation a hell of a lot worse because you did violate her personal space and demonstrated to her that you don't trust her. That's on you. I just covered a lot of great information that will help you to renew both yourself and your marriage. And I hope that you put everything that you just learned into practice because that's the only way that you're going to get results. But There is so much more that you can do, and I'm going to cover all of that in my free training that walks you through how to renew your marriage, even if your wife has told you that there's nothing that you can do to change her mind. So if you'd like to learn the specific strategies and methods that thousands of my clients have used and continue to use to renew their failing marriages and create a meaningful legacy, then click the link below, watch that free training, and then feel free to submit an application after that. Also, be sure to click the link to access my private Facebook group where you can get support and connect and even learn from a community of men who are also struggling to keep their failing marriages together. And when you join, I'll even send you a free copy of my latest ebook. And if you like what you heard today and you want more content like this from me, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to comment below with any questions or tell me whatever it is that you found to be the most helpful. And like I mentioned before, click the link below for that free training that I mentioned earlier. I'm Philip Douthett, the Men's Marriage Mentor, and I'll see you on the next video.